Y'all, it is officially the holiday season in Wizard101, and you know what that means, y'all. There are tons of new seasonal packs updated for 2025 and level 180 headed to the Crowns shop. Now, the pack that I wanted to talk about, the Winter Witch Pack 2025, is so new that it's not even in the Crown shop yet. If you look, you won't even find it. However, conveniently for us, in the brand new Winter Scroll of Fortune, if you go low enough, you'll actually see that this pack is here. And because of the preview feature, we can see everything that's about to hit the Crown shop very, very soon. So while this pack isn't in the Crown shop yet, when it does, this video should give you a really, really good idea of why you should buy this pack. This pack looks super, super worth it. It involves some of the best gear in terms of energy, and also it's been updated to add new pets that might be the best for their school in some cases. There's definitely a lot to talk about, so let's hit that little pack preview and get right into it. So I got my energy gear on my storm so you can get a side-by-side, but basically, right, why would you want to get this pack for gear specifically? It's because energy has a very, very weird way of working in this game right now. If you're looking at hat, robe, and boots, the most energy that you can get is 30 energy for those pieces. However, all of those 30 energy pieces come from various bundles and various packs. What's really, really dope about these, and this is just something that you should just take advantage of if you don't have energy gear and you want to spend crowns, all of this energy gear is very, very close to that 30 number, but it's all in one place. Meaning, opening this pack gives you a chance of getting full energy gear. And also, what's very important is that the wand is the best energy wand. So let's break down the numbers, right? The hat, the best hat that you could get from this gives 26 energy, and this is basically just 4 short of the 30 energy hat, which gives the most energy from a different pack. And while I guess if you want to open packs, I guess you could open up the Shadow Hat of Night from a pack instead of this one. However, right, the robe, it's a 30 energy robe, as good as a robe that you can get from a bundle, which I think is ridiculously cool. The boots are also very close to that 30 number. Now, I don't even have the 30 energy boots because I wasn't trying to buy another bundle, but if you want to get the best energy boots without buying a bundle, this pack also has that, and you also get the added bonus of everything else that we're about to talk about, which is why I think you should really open this pack if you already have energy gear. So here's where things get interesting, right? The Brutal Winter Warrior Sword. I didn't know this until recently, but if y'all didn't know, this is actually technically the best energy wand in the game. And why is that, right? Because it does give 14 energy, just like every other wand that there is in this game, right? Just like the 30 number is the maximum energy that they've basically settled on for hat, robe, and boots, 14 is the maximum energy that you can get from any wand. That tier socket is why this wand is actually the best energy wand in the game. Now, this is obviously just for people that want to really, really max out their energy, but there are tier jewels that give energy. Now, these tier jewels are very, very rare. The only way to get these is also to open up pack. Now, these are from the Farley pack that's also in the Crown shop. I think it's debatable whether these are worth getting or not. However, keep in mind that every time that you have a really, really high energy set, every time you buy an energy elixir going forward, you end up saving crowns. I think there's a heated debate that'll happen over whether this pack is truly the best energy gear or not, but on paper, it absolutely is. And because you save money on every energy elixir, it is worth considering. If you get lucky enough to get this, do not trash it. It is a very, very good drop. Added on to all of this energy gear, which is actually, by the way, all stuff that's always been in the Winter Witch Pack. The really brand new stuff is actually the pets. So there are 3 pets that have already existed in this pack: the Sub-Zero Snowblin, the Brutal Snowblin, and the Snowblin of Ages. What all of these have in common is that they give some pretty cool item cards, one of them being like Lord of Winter, which is a very good card in PvP, but all of these actually also give buffs, which I would argue is really good in PvE. So for example, the Brutal Snowblin, not a new pet, gives an item card Storm Trap and an item card Storm Blade. Very, very useful, especially if you're just solo questing. You just get some really unique item card buffs. The Snowblin of Ages, while the Medusa maybe not so good even in PvP, it gives a Mythic Fuel item card if you train it up. But let's talk about these new pets, y'all. The Dirt Snowblin, the Jewel Snowblin, and the Ice Snowblin. These are all brand new pets that have never been in the game before. They're getting added with the Winter Witch Pack, updated for 2025. And I think these are really, really cool. I'll start with the one that I'm the most excited about, the Poison pet. Now, if y'all don't know, Poison is in a very, very weird spot because it's an event spell element, meaning you got to do Beast Moon, or I guess when Portal Apparel comes out, you can maybe use that method. But right now, the only way to really get this is to do a lot of Beast Moon and farm a bunch of death moon seeds, which for a lot of people, especially if they're starting off, that's a big ask. But this is a very cool card. It clears a harmful aura on yourself and turns it into a 45% trap aura for death onto your opponent. If you've ever wanted access to this card, especially for PvP, because it is extremely good in PvP, now there's a way to do it. When people open this pack, I'm sure people are going to be lending it. I think that's probably going to be what has to happen. But as if all of that wasn't enough, it also gives a death item card blade. So this is an item card blade giving pet that also gives a very, very hard to get utility. Definitely a pet worth getting, especially because most people, they just stop with that item card blade and then call it a day. But you could actually make a multi-purpose pet, right? Something that's good in PvP and PvE. The Jewel Snowblin pet gives an Efreet card. This gives up dots and essentially attempts to replace them with better dots. That's what this gambit is, right? So if you do a weak dot, like a fire elf that creates 2 dots on your opponent, you could give both of those dots up for 540 dot damage for each. Essentially, it's like a 1-for-1 dot trade. Ideally, you use this when you have weaker dots on your opponent. This used to be a lot better of a card. I think they made it so that Efreet gives up dots to make dots instead of just doing extra dots simply for having them. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but just like the previous Snowblin, this also does give a Fireblade card if you upgrade it, as in if you level it up. Based on what's available info-wise, people have figured out that this is a blade card that also gives this. Compared to Poison, this is even more situational. So again, it's more for the item card blade, in my opinion. I don't think it's like a best for the school type of thing like the Poison Deathblade pet might be. And finally, we have the Dirt Snowblin. This is also, again, kind of a weird-ish card, right? In Gnomes, it could be a very, very nice hit, but obviously in PvE, we have things that are enchantable, so you could get to that 750 to 850 damage a lot quicker. That being said, I feel like having that extra utility is not bad. When you level this up, once again, it gives a life blade, so it's a very, very nice alternative to what is, I would argue, the current best pet in the game right now, which is a Bubble and Gnomes pet. You can, instead of having a Bubble and Gnomes pet, you can have a Life Blade and Gnomes pet. I think that's pretty good, especially for PvE. But other than those pets, y'all, this pack looks pretty much untouched compared to previous years. Other than all the level 170 gear being level 180, if you were to open this pack, you also have access to getting, very commonly anyways, a lot of these cosmetic ones. So, I mean, you basically are going to get something that you could use. As far as, like, mounts and whatnot, I feel like that's, like, the big, big drop, right, that comes from a pack. The polar bear mounts are the ones that drop from this. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't believe there were this many polar bears before. Now, drop rates have been a topic for a while, especially ever since these pack previews and like the actual drop rates for them became, like, you know, available to the player. I'll say this, compared to most packs, this is actually pretty generous when it comes to mounts. Why? Because each of these mounts are 1 in 100 as a drop. Like, if you were taking that at face value, you wouldn't call that generous. But, right, there's 6 of them. And what's very, very important about there being 6 of them, right? Unlike, like, Gulchers or stat mounts where you want a specific mount because specific Gulchers give specific damage, this being a 1 in 110 and there being 6 mounts is actually a much more generous rate, right? You're given one pack, you're actually more likely than 1 in 100 to get a mount at least. Unless you're really picky about the color of the polar bear, I guess, that you're trying to get. It's actually a pretty good thing that could give you a really, really cool seasonal mount as well. And let's be honest, we all open up packs and get excited for these cosmetics. So low-key, this info, this is the first year we've ever had this info as far as I know. That's a pretty cool thing to know. I think this is looking like a very, very nice pack. Obviously, the most important thing about any pack is that it shouldn't be like, you know, you have to open it or you don't have a competitive advantage. And thankfully, because I would argue the best thing from this that's like really a game changer are maybe the pet bodies, because those are lendable. I think as long as people don't gatekeep these pets, there's nothing pay to win about this pack. And it looks like it's been updated with some really cool cosmetics, really helpful gear, all in one place. That's a pretty big W. Hopefully this gave y'all a good idea about the Winter Witch pack. If y'all want to see a pack opening when that happens, let me know in the comments. And also, let me know what other videos y'all trying to see in December, y'all. I'm listening to all the comments these days. We actually uploaded like crazy. Turn on noties so you don't miss a crazy one. I look forward to reading y'all's thoughts on this pack in the comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. And if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.